Hi traders, how's everybody doing today? I hope you guys had a good day today. Another one of these crazy volatile, slow days. Really easy to lose money in this market. But I'm trying to get you guys to see you don't have to change what you do. You don't have to change and chase this hot sector or that hot sector or whatever. If you start doing that, your whole trading career is going to be chasing. And to me, that's really no fun. And I don't know anybody that's making a ton of money being an ambulance chaser. They may post a big win here and there, but ambulance chasing is just not profitable. You can make money, but being consistently profitable is going to be tough. So having a strategy, having a process that you do day in, day out, and you can make little tweaks to it based on the market conditions. Like I may take 2/3 off instead of taking half based on market conditions, but I'm trading the same strategy. I'm looking at the chart the same way. I just may adjust how I take profit. I may adjust position size at some point. Just minor adjustments, but I'm still trading the same strategy. And for me, that's key. Being consistent, coming in the market, controlling the things that you can control 100% every day is going to translate into success. So I'm going to give you guys a free mentoring session here for a couple of minutes. So what I want you to do, just write these down. Write these down and just take a index card, a note card or something. And trust me, this can change the direction of your trading. So the first thing, write down, what do you feel are the barriers that are keeping you from being a successful trader? And be honest with yourself. All of the barriers, all of the things that you feel are keeping you from being a successful trader. That's number one. All right, so the second thing I want you to do, write down what you feel your trading would look like if you could break down each of those barriers. Okay? And the reason why this is important, the day that I sat down and did that was the day my trading life changed forever. Because at that point, I had humbled myself so that I could be 100% honest with my assessment of me and what I felt I needed. And once I did that, I knew what barriers needed to be broke down, and I got help with it. That was the day that changed my trading life. And it could be yours. So the last question, the one I have up here, what do you have to lose? Money? Money is nothing. If you put too much emphasis on money, you're going to lose it every time. You have to understand, you have to put money in its right context. I know you need money to make a living. I know you need money for the basics of life and to enjoy some of the finer things in life. But you got to keep it in its context. Okay, so money is just a byproduct of what we do. The little bit of money that you would invest in, say, my program or somebody else's program, what's that to lose? If you're unwilling to invest that in yourself, do you actually think you're ever going to be successful at anything? No. So that's the third and final thing you have to answer. And be honest with yourself. What do you have to lose? And if it's only money, your money is tangible. So think about it. Go through these things. Write down what you feel are the barriers. Write down what you think your trading will look like once you break down those barriers, and ask yourself, what do you have to lose? And once you do that, get help. Get help breaking down those barriers. Now you have a list of things that you could go to somebody with and say, hey, I need help with this. This is what I need help with. And until I did that, I would never have made it. If I didn't do the things that I just shared with you, I would not be talking to you right now today. That's just how serious this is. And you're going to have to break it down and do it. And I know there's a lot of people who just skip this part and just go straight to looking at the recaps. That's not going to help you much if you don't have these other things in place. The recaps aren't going to help you. So you got to get this in place. So wanted to share that with you real quick. A free mentor session for you. So now let's take a look at today. All right, so the market, you can see what happened. This is yesterday after 8 o'clock. I mean, not 8 o'clock. Yeah, 8 o'clock. I'm sorry. 6 o'clock. After 6 o'clock, you can see what started to happen here. The market just started running up, and it just kept going and going and going all night. It wasn't a smooth gap up. I mean, it wasn't just an abrupt gap up like we saw the gap down the night before. This was just a smooth run up. The stock was just trading up. And then about 7 o'clock, we hit the high up here. And after that, we started coming in. And you can see the stock, it kind of put in a channel here. And whenever you see the market going in these channels or starting to trade in these channels, I know the direction was still down in this, but this limits how much volatility you're going to see in the market. And it limits our trading ability. Now, the opening range, there's always going to be volatility, whether the market's sideways or not. Just the open is going to bring some volatility. Once that first half an hour is over, things tend to slow down and drag out. And that's kind of what we saw here. And I want you to keep this in mind because you're going to see this on the chart that we traded today. All right, so now that you see this, I'm pretty sure you see the next channel that we're going to look at. But you're going to see what happened when the stock was trading in this channel after the open and what happened once it broke outside of it. So here's the next channel right here. In this channel, the stocks we were looking at didn't really make a whole lot of moves. It stopped a lot of people out. I got several PMs from traders that are just absolutely frustrated because they're getting chopped out. Okay, like I've been telling you guys, do not trade in these channels. Now a scalper can make money in channels, in these tight channels like this. Now, if you're looking for a trend, you're looking for a long-term trend, something to hold and make $1.50 move. When the market is doing this, it's going to be hard because the volatility is not going to be there. The participants are just not in the market at that time. So let's look at, and it wasn't until we broke out of this channel that we started to see after 2 o'clock, we started to see some moves that we can trade. So people scalping momentum, really simple. But those that let me move that out the way. those that are trading the trend, slower moving, we're not scalping these small moves. We need to see stocks breaking out. We need to see the market breaking out of these channels. Now, here's the open. Roku is the one that we looked at 3 stocks today, really. We looked at Roku, and we looked at ZM. DKS to me was a little crowded, but if you could stand the rain, it could potentially give you a halfway decent trade, and it actually did. It gave a really good trade and a nice trend continuation after the fact. So that one was really nice. So all 3 stocks on our watch list today gave us really good moves. So Roku was the first one, opening range breakdown. We got first 5-minute candle. As soon as we broke it, you enter without question. There's enough room between where I entered and the 200. So taking profit there at the 200. And my next target was down here. It was 90. I forgot the exact price, but my next target was down here. Now, here's where I made a mistake in execution today. This wasn't my stop. My stop was at break even at this point. Once I take profit, my stop automatically goes to break even. I'll lock in at least that amount of profit. I started thinking about yesterday, and so I'm like, I'm not going to let it stop me out at break even. I'm just going to take it off, and then when we get the rejection, I'm going to jump back in, and we'll start the trade over again. So I took it off here, and I made an execution error. So I've got to give myself a D or an F on execution. Even though I nailed the entry, even though I nailed the first target, I did not stick to my trade plan. I took this off and didn't even need to. We didn't even close above the 200. Okay, I'm just letting stuff get into my head. This is why we have to come in the next trading day with a clean slate. And I had that residual from yesterday, what caused me to make that error. And I told you guys as soon as I did it, as soon as I realized it, I shared with you guys, I made that mistake. Thank God some of you didn't listen to me and you stayed in and you got the move, the rest of the move. But all in all, this was still a decent trade. I gave up about $100 by not holding it and taking the profit where it would have hit my order. So we bounced on a rejection. I'm ready to get back in. And I didn't even pay attention that this candle never did close back below the 200. And again, I jumped in. As soon as I got in, within 30 seconds, I knew exactly what I did wrong. I made the biggest mistake. I made an error by jumping in before we had a candle close under the 200, and then the next candle make a lower low. So would I have gotten in here or not? I don't know. It just depends on how quick a move this was. If this was kind of a flash and I couldn't get in, then I never would have gotten in this trade here. But I ended up getting stopped out. I had to stick to my stop. Okay, I had no idea that this was going to tick up a couple of cents more and then pull back and give me the move. I didn't know that. All I knew was I had to respect my stop. It was already, programmed in. And that if we came back, I was going to take it. And so this candle closed below the 9 and the 200. As soon as we made a lower low, I got in. Now, I can't call this trend continuation because this bounce was a higher low, and this pullback was a higher high. So it kind of killed this little move. But this was during what time? What time was this happening? After the opening volatility, like I said, when you get that opening volatility, that's what you're going to get. But then if the market is in a channel, and it was in a channel through all of this, remember, this is the time frame that we were trading in this channel. Look at what it did. Sideways. Once it broke the channel, we broke down. And it started coming. So we got, I got the trend, not the trend continuation trade, because it's not a trend, it's just a continuation. There's really no trend yet. The trend was broken. So we're starting a new one, so to speak. So we got in and covered some at red to green. Have to take some off at this level. And got to my second target here around 95.50ish. 90, what? I can't even see. My eyes are so bad. Yeah, 95.75, I think is what it was. And then I got to this target, and I think I had 25 shares left. And I was just leaving that 25 shares on until I was just wanting to see how low we could go. And we ended up bouncing during lunch. And we kind of got this rejection here. And I got in. And wasn't paying attention really to what was going on in the market. I just jumped in and added to my short position. So I added to the 25, actually 37 shares I had. No. Did I have 25 shares? I can't remember how many shares I had left. But it wasn't much. It wasn't much. It was 38 shares. I'm sorry. I had 38 shares left. So I added to that and ended up with 200 shares. And turned around and stopped me out. And I just didn't mess with it anymore. But I know I took the snapshot at like 2:30. But if you go back and look at the chart, this thing kind of ran up. When did it run up? Once it broke out of this channel. My trade was inside this channel and I got chopped out in here. And then after it broke out, this thing ran up. So that's what we were looking at today. And still did pretty decent. 358.52, even with the loss I took right here. We were able to get a little bit of it back and finish the day up 358.52. Not the best, but it's a hell of a lot better than what we did yesterday. The only thing was in this account, I picked Roku. I did trade, day trade, ZM in Thinkorswim because we're not swing trading. Just waiting on the market to settle. And you get a good opportunity on a day trade, it's worth burning the day trade up. It's worth it. And so I can't trade two opening range breakdowns at the same time. I can't do that. I'm only going to trade one. So I got in Roku, and so I was at a point where I could free up and kind of keep an eye on this. So what I did, I waited for this to close below the 200, and then once this candle made a new low relative to that candle, it claimed the 200 or lost the 200. So I got in, and halfway between here and here, I took some off, and I took some off here at the 107.34 level, and I still had 25 shares left, and I got a little greedy. My final target was the 20 EMA here from the daily. This is where my final target was, and I had the order already in. But the market started selling a little bit hard, and so I pulled it and put it down on this level here, this 104.50 level. And it never did get there. It kind of bottomed out around here and then started to push back up. Once we claimed the 20 here, trade was done. Now we did eventually come back, but again, I had to take it off. I had no clue whether this was going to continue to push up or whether we were going to pull back and give me another chance. But I didn't take any more trades on this. I realized that we were in this channel and there were no trades. This could easily chop you out. You know, it could bait you short. You get short, it goes up, stops you out long, baits you long, pulls back through, stops you out, baits you short again, you get in short, bounces, takes you back out. That's what happens during the channel. But look at what happened here after 2:30. When did we break out of the channel? Right after 2:30. And that's when this thing made its next move. So not bad. 300 shares I traded on this. Shorted 300. I took 200 off, 2/3 on the first cover, and then took 75 on this one and left 25 on to get here. But again, trying to be greedy. But 669 on this one. Actually did better in the Thinkorswim than I did in the other account. But that was the trading for today. So that's going to do it. Wrap it up for me today. Remember, if you didn't hear the little mentoring session I gave you guys, go back, take 5 minutes and listen to it. Do that little exercise, and you could be on the way to changing your trading life forever. So you guys have a great night, a great evening, and I will catch you in the morning.